What's up, everybody? Tom Pelissero with just a real quick update here from Winter Park on Friday. The Vikings wrapping up practice today. No Percy Harvin on the field. Leslie Frazier said that Harvin did try to do some catching drills inside, but not the cutting his coaches wanted to be able to see. Listed as doubtful, no guarantee travels on Saturday, and if he doesn't, he'll be downgraded to out. Frazier's continued to say it's just a low ankle sprain, not the dreaded high ankle sprain. But at this point, Harvin is 3.5 weeks long through his recovery and is in essence on the timeline you would normally expect for a high ankle sprain. It continues to be a pain tolerance thing. And one thing that's worth pointing out here, because I'm sure people knowing that it's Percy Harvin are going to have some conspiracy theories about what's keeping him out. Whether there's ligament damage or something else that's holding him back from a physical perspective, that's something the team's not revealing. But I can tell you this, watching him in practice on Wednesday, he did try to run. And when he's going in a straight line, he looks a lot like himself. It's when he has to break down that all of a sudden you see he can't quite pedal the same way that you'd normally see Percy Harvin doing. When he's coming out of his breaks, he doesn't really have explosion. That's something that hampered him when he came back into the Seattle game. The ball up the sideline that ends up being an interception, the drag route that sails by his head, he couldn't push off that ankle. 3.5 weeks later, he's still not pushing off the same way that the Vikings hoped. There's some weakness in the ankle. Clearly, there's soreness. He is still in some pain. He's trying. I can affirm that much. I go back to that stretch in 2010 that led to the confrontation with Brad Childers, where you could see in practice Harvin wasn't opening things up, and he was going a little bit slow, and that's something that got under Childers' skin. In this case, Harvin is out there attempting to run. He just can't do it. And whether there's something more going on with the ankle is something we're going to continue to be monitoring over the next couple of weeks. But it certainly seems as if it would be difficult for the Vikings at this point to even trust Percy Harvin to put him out on the field, even in a reserve decoy sort of role. That being said, I have seen Percy Harvin look pretty bad on a Friday before, or even in a pregame before, and he's ended up on the field. I'll put it at about 98% chance that he does not play against the Green Bay Packers. I'll be heading there with Judd on Sunday to Lambeau Field. Big game for the Minnesota Vikings, and also a big game for the Green Bay Packers. I continue to think the Vikings need to be able to win, as I said even before they began the stretch, one of 3 games. Last week at Chicago, this week at Green Bay, next week at home against Chicago. Do I think they're going to beat the Packers? I don't. But if you're able to get one win here, you move to 7-6. You're still right in the thick of an NFC playoff picture, that with a New Orleans loss last night, that with Dallas continuing to struggle, that with teams in Seattle and Tampa Bay that are flawed, being the other teams that are right there. The Vikings need to win one of these next 2 games to stay in the playoff picture. All of a sudden, that would turn the tone of that game in St. Louis to something that could put you another game up and get you to at least a 500 season for the year. The opportunities out there in front of the Minnesota Vikings, whether they're up to the task on Sunday, remains to be seen. The biggest thing is still going to be turnovers, because if you look back at that Chicago game, if they don't drop a ball on 3rd and 4, if Peterson doesn't fumble, if Ponder doesn't throw an interception, you're potentially talking about a much different game. They cannot allow them to be put in the position once again. What's the book on the Vikings? It's get them down 10 points, their offense will change, and they can't come back. The Vikings need, as much as it's a cliche, it's completely true with the way they play the game, they need to get off to a fast start, and they need to dictate what this game's going to be about in Green Bay on Sunday. It's certainly going to be a tough one. I'll be there. Full Vikings coverage as always at 1500ESPN.com. We'll see you.